Rebecca, start, please. Okay, this is part 2 of our listing presentation. Last week, we trained on the fact that your first time to a listing appointment should be a preview. Why should it be a preview? You want to make sure you're the last realtor in the door. 9 times out of 10, the last realtor in the door is either the one that they thought they would go with or the person that ends up getting the business. Why is that? If you're smart enough to be the second realtor in the door or the last realtor in the door, you've got a better shot at getting the listing because now you can ask questions and find out what that other realtor did right and did wrong. It's a real advantage when you can find out what somebody didn't do. So we do the presentation in 2 parts. We start with a preview. We want to build rapport. We want to show that we're worthy of earning their business. You got to give to get, right? So on that preview, we're getting a lot of information and we're giving a lot of information. One of the things we leave them with is the Camelot difference. Now, they may pass that along to the next agent, which puts them at an advantage. They may not, but they still have to implement this. Okay? Now let's talk about going back to the house. Let's talk about what we do when we get there. Look at your sheets. This is selling the sizzle, and this is the actual closing of the sale. These are closing techniques you're about to learn. What we have on this sheet is how you can get listings effectively. First thing I want to talk to you guys about is downplaying or minimize the price. Why? I hear time and time again about agents losing listings because the seller went with the person who priced the home the highest. Is that smart?
No.
In a buyer's market, is that smart?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
If you frame it properly. If you frame it properly. If that's the linchpin on which they made a decision, then we downplay the price. You have to go and sell everything about your company, everything about yourself, everything about your marketing, then price becomes secondary.
Because you can always adjust it.
Can always adjust it. If we're in a market where people are getting 90 to 93% of their purchase, of their asking price to the purchase contract, what's the difference where we price it? Within reason. A market analysis is going to show us what the price should be. The market analysis is going to show us within a range of what it should be.
Erica's driving the machine.
Okay. As long as we're within that range and they're not being ridiculous, just to jump off of pricing for one minute. If it comes down to pricing, if the seller says my house is worth $499, that's where I want to list it, and you know the market says $450 tops, and you've studied it, and you've looked at that home, and you've previewed it, and you know every crack in every window, and you know where it should be power washed, and you know blah, 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 and you think $450. Use this language. Say, you know what? Okay, let's try it. You might be right, but the buyers vote. They vote yes or they vote no. How do we know what their vote is? It's not a secret ballot. If they don't show it, they're voting no. If a buyer calls on the phone, you say the price, click, or they laugh, or they don't want to see it. You priced it too high. So let's do this, Mr. Seller. Let's try it your way. But I have a question for you. I'm going to spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing and a lot of time and energy. Will you adjust the price if all the buyers vote no over the course of the first month? Now, if they say no to that, you've got a real tough decision to make. Now, we know that every listing produces 1.5 deals. It's a national statistic. Maybe it's a lease. Maybe it's another listing. Maybe it's a buyer. Who knows? But the more times your name is out there, the more signs that say Alex Russell, the more people are going to remember you in that neighborhood. And it's good business. Signs are the cheapest form of advertising besides a business card there is. It does not cost you monthly. It's a one-time fee and it's inexpensive. Okay? But you want to downplay the price because you want to be different and you don't want to lose it over pricing. It has to be the last thing you talk about. Or the least significant thing. You've got to take that whole price thing off of your shoulders and throw it on the buyer's shoulders. By the way, what do you think your job is? Without looking at the sheet, what is your job when you list a home?
To market it
When,
and show people.
showings, market.
Showings. Your job is to show the property. Your job is not to sell it. Home has to sell itself. Here's the language that you must use at the point of the listing presentation. Say, we'll get back to pricing. The market analysis you've probably seen 3 different times now. If you've interviewed 4 realtors, you've seen the exact same data 4 times. If I'm showing it to you for the first time, we'll get to that last. Let me tell you how we're going to get there first. If you lead with pricing, you'll lose. That has to be the last thing that you do. And if you have an appointment set up to go do a listing presentation and you don't feel like you're confident in doing it, especially if it's not from a friend or a neighbor or a relative, then let me know. I'll go with you. Because I take this very seriously. This is the key to our business is listings. It is not my job to sell your home. My job, my responsibility is to show your home. It is the job of your home to sell itself. I've now taken all the pressure off the price. And when they repeat $4.99, you simply say, let's find out. Let's find out. I've been wrong before, but typically the statistics don't lie. It's not my job to sell your home. It's hard to get fired when they have that clear in their mind. Do you know a listing agreement is a performance-based employment contract? Got that? Performance-based. Remind them of that. Hold it up and show them. This is a performance-based contract. I only get paid if you sell your home. So together, we've got to work synergistically to get your home sold. Seller, broker, working together. Again, that takes the pressure off of us. If the pressure is completely on us, we may not even get the listing, much less get to keep it in a buyer's market. Be sure you emphasize in this market that it is a buyer's market. Okay, how do we know if the home is priced effectively? Very simple. No showings means what? Price is too high. If we put your beautiful home on the market with professional photography, with a beautiful sign out front, with collateral material, we blast it all over Truly and Zillow and Dot Loop and the MLS. We throw it out through Facebook and every electronic marketing campaign there is, and you don't get showings, guess what? We priced the home too high. Then we need to talk about that. Now watch this. No offers over 5 or 10 showings. Something is absolutely wrong with the house. Now, do we want to be combative about that? Or do we want to be third-party testimonial-ish in our approach? We want to be third-party testimonial. Get feedback from everybody that shows the home and give a report to your seller via text after every open house and after every showing. That way you're putting the onus of price and the condition of the home on the seller, and tell your sellers at the listing presentation 10 showings. Maximum should produce 1 offer. Now they're excited. Now they want those showings. You are not going to get an offer without a showing. Unless it's a fire sale, an auction, or an REO. You must have showings. Your job is to produce showings, however you get them. If you got to drag them in off the street, one of those little spinner guys, hot air balloon, grab them from a bus stop, you got to do showings. Without showings, there's not going to be an offer. Now, why do I say 5 to 10 showings should produce an offer? How detailed is the MLS right now? And I'm not talking about open houses where people rolled in off the signs. I'm talking about scheduled showings. How much data is in the MLS? When was the last time you guys uploaded a listing to the MLS?
A lot.
Oh my God,
Yes.
is it compared to what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago? What's missing? Did it flood? No. HOA? Yes. How much? My God, room sizes is the beginning of it. Now the directions even have to be done in a certain way. We got maps we can pull up. We can see exactly every school, year built. What's missing? How does somebody look at a house on the MLS, and get surprised when they come to the house. We got 30 photos, digital flyers, collateral material, seller's disclosure.
I think sometimes when you get there, you don't see your surroundings, like.
Somebody's really, I agree with that.
They
but if
should
some-
have, I always suggest people, if they want to see 8 homes, drive to the area, see if you like it. I mean, it saves everyone time, really. I mean, you have to have a report with them. You can't just go out and drive.
But also, some pictures are fabulous.
Yeah.
And then you walk in
get
and
there and you're
it's
like,
horrible.
wow.
I'd rather have fabulous pictures than pictures that don't produce showings.
Right, well, the fabulous gets them into the.
By the way, we're going to talk about all that in a minute. That's all good stuff. But a good buyer's rep probably knows the area. I mean, how many times do you have somebody that comes and shows your home and it says Austin, Texas? They just drove in to show your home in the Heights. Usually it's somebody who knows.
Yeah.
So they should have a pretty good understanding of the surrounding areas. Google Earth now can give them a down view. We've got technology now that makes it pretty easy
People
to...
don't go to that trouble, though. They just don't.
I believe 10 showings should produce an offer. I really do. And if it doesn't, then let's find out why. And let's fix it synergistically. If everybody says, now watch this. What objection cannot be cured with price? None.
I don't like it.
None. I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. But anything else, even that I could overcome with price. I could sell you anything at the right price. Anything. Anything in this room, a piece of clothing I'm wearing, a house, anything. I don't like it. Really? It's listed at 400. Do you like it for 200? Oh yeah, I'd buy it for 200. Great, write an offer. Oh, that bedroom's too small. I agree. Thank God, or it'd be 600. Man, I wish the lot was bigger. Me too, it'd be 600. Wish they had a pool. Me too, it'd be 600. We priced it according to everything you just said. What's it worth to you? You saw it on the MLS. You looked at it. You know it's the right school system. You know the size. You know the square footage. You know everything. What's it worth? Make an offer. No reasonable offer will be rejected. Second most important thing you can say. Once you express to anybody the language, it's not my job to sell your home. It's my responsibility to show it. Then you use the language at the point of sale when you're meeting with a buyer or a buyer's agent. No reasonable offer will be rejected. What did you say? Did you say it'd be accepted? No.
To make an offer, we'll see.
No reasonable offer will be rejected. What happens when an offer comes in? What's the seller have the opportunity to do? Accept, reject, or counter. I just said we would reject it. What did they hear? I got a shot. So a lot of times it's not what you say, but how you say it. Okay. If we provide feedback after every showing, eventually we're going to uncover what is wrong with the house. And then it can be adjusted here. Because at a price, everything will sell. The question is, will the seller accept that or not? If they don't, what do you tell them? Lease it. Lease it if you don't have to sell it. If we're cutting so deep into your equity because of the market, not my efforts, because of the market, then why don't we lease it? Is that an option, Mr. Seller? That's a way to preserve listings. I've got 2 homes that I couldn't sell last year, both in the Heights, both coming up on their lease renewals because I didn't feel like my seller should take the prices that the market was bearing. 639 Rutland and my listing on 20th Street. You were at 20th Street, that's where I met Josh. Okay? Here's the process, guys. Here's how it works. Marketing and advertising create showings. Showing creates offers. Offers create a sale, then a closing. It is a numbers game. Our marketing is very simple. We want to produce X number of showings to produce X number of offers to produce a sale, which then produces a closing. That's it. That's our job. Make sure you understand your job is to produce showings. How do we get there? Let's just cut to the chase. First of all, it's important that when you're at the point of sale, at the listing presentation, you explain to your seller there are only 2 groups of people that I have to market to. What are those 2 groups of people? Tell me.
Agents and buyers.
Agents and buyers. Agents who have buyers who are going to get excited about showing your property, and buyers who want to buy your house. How do we do that? Okay. Here's the 8 most likely candidates. And I would put this on a piece of paper, and I will do it for you guys if you want, and we'll talk about that. Brand X Realtors, that's everybody you talked to before you met me, okay? We're all going to use the MLS. And in the old days, everybody was excited about the MLS because it sold 99% of our homes. Throw it on the MLS, bing, bang, done. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you how old I am. I remember when a good sign and the MLS sold everything. But the buyers that we're dealing with nowadays, Gen Z, Gen X, all from baby boomers down, the millennials, don't even go by signs. They're doing it electronically. And we got to hit people electronically. E-blasts are huge, but they're mainly for realtors. The MLS is mainly for realtors. Why do I say that? How many buyers do you know that even know what HAR is?
Amazing.
Your buyers know who Zillow are.
Yes, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I was like, do not send me Zillow stuff. I can't see it.
I'm going to tell you something.
Download the app.
Zillow has taken over the multiple listing service. And here's where we can win a lot of business. Okay? Okay, let's go down the list. Everybody does the MLS. So do we. E-blasts. Some brokers do it, but usually the big brokers, this is easy, guys. The big brokers group your listing in with 20 other listings, 100 other listings. I remember I used to watch Sunday's Houston Chronicle. This is 10 years ago before everything went viral. And you open up the real estate section, and Martha Turner would have the whole inside section. And they would have, with a magnifying glass, you couldn't see these ads. They were like postage stamps. You literally had to have a magnifying, oh, there's my house. When you do an e-blast, and you should be doing e-blasts, if you don't know how to do them, get with Rachel and Ashley, they know how to do them. You should be doing an e-blast on your property weekly, especially if you're doing an open house. And don't take a listing if you don't plan on doing open houses, because you win 3 ways. You placate the seller, you might sell the house, and you're going to get a buyer, okay? Signage. Here's the difference between our sign and everybody else's. Our signs have your name and cell number on them. Is that important?
Yes.
It sure is if somebody goes by, because they pick up, hi, this is Pascal. Hey, tell me about the house at 123 Main Street. And it's your listing, and you better know everything about it. Say, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, when you list your home with me, my name and number is going to be out front. And when somebody calls, anybody calls, I'm going to answer the phone, including the neighbor who might call me and tell me that a branch fell down that's hanging on your roof. I'm going to take care of it. It's not going to a switchboard. It's not going to CSS. I've got an opportunity to talk to that person and get them excited about your property. I love it when a company tells me, when a seller tells me that they're talking to some big company. Love that. And it's going to be one of their top agents. I just smile. Oh, that person's really good. I agree. Do you know they have about 100 listings? Do you think they're going to really be paying attention and picking up that phone call on your home when that call comes in? We are. Okay?
Man, it's like, I don't know, Mark Demas and Lance Logan. You cannot get anybody on the weekend, and you would never get them. You get these other people. I got an assistant one time. And
I have Lance's number, you want
it? But it's amazing that those big companies, like, you don't even get anybody on the weekend.
It's very sterile. It's just like going to Jack in the Box and ordering number 3, supersize it, give me curly fries, and picking up in the window, and that person just hands you your bag and you're down the road. It's that sterile. You know I like the number 3s at Jack in the Box. Okay. Now.
I have a question.
Yep.
The e-blasts, what are they? To your database, or are you saying?
No, to realtors.
To realtors?
To realtors. And you really want to send an e-blast out to the realtors, to our database of realtors when you're doing an open house. Why? Because realtors, for the most part, are lazy. And they don't want to show people homes all the time on the weekends. Those number 2 and number 3 buyers that might not want to buy for 6 to 9 months. But then they go to an open house and all of a sudden, wow, that's the house I want. And guess what? So the realtor may just send the buyer, which is fine. That's fine. Or the realtor may have a buyer. Or the realtor may be showing in that neighborhood and hadn't seen your listing yet. E-blasts are important. Why? Because it commands a stimulus response. When that email comes in, even if you delete it, you're looking at it. But the MLS, unless you're searching, you won't find it. E-blasts are critical, guys. Critical. And they're cheap.
And the database, you have it, is on our website.
The people that do the e-blast have the database.
Oh,
They've
you
got
hire
all the
a
realtors.
company.
Yeah, we hired that out. We don't do it in-house.
Oh, all right.
Now, maybe we have the capability. I don't know about it. But e-blasts are critical. They're cheap. I
The
mean,
minute like that you go through real estate school, they get the list of like champions. So like the minute that I got my license, like I started getting.
Well, I know
email.
what they are, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we can
There's
access
like a
it.
list.
Yes,
the
I know.
point is, you want to make sure.
I already have 3,000 contacts with mine. I have,
Perfect.
I have 2,000 more coming, but they're not realtors. So my question is, how do we access that realtor?
Okay. I think we have a database here. You can check with Karen. If not, I would reach out to one of the groups that do propertyblast.com is one. There's a bunch of them you can go to.
Okay, so you can hire them.
Yeah. And you can even buy your own database. I know Ashley and Rachel do a lot of e-blasts. You can get with them. But the point of the e-blast is that you're stimulating activity.
Right.
And it's important to, now, maybe you do it once a month. You do it when you're having a big open house. You do it the first weekend you're holding a house open. Open houses. Most other realtors are, I win a lot of business from people who are looking to change realtors. They tell me the same thing all the time. My realtor did a couple of open houses, then they just stopped doing them. I believe we stay on top of these open houses, whether you do it yourself or get somebody else in this company to do it. Open houses are important in a buyer's market. In a seller's market, you can do an open house once a month for 2 hours at a time and probably sell it before your first open house. In a buyer's market, you better expose the house. Collateral material is important too, guys. Your collateral material needs to be expensive. Extensive, not expensive. Make it expensive. But what I mean by extensive is on every house that you list, tell the seller you want a specification sheet. Anybody's going to brag about their own home. Tell me why you bought this house. Was it the schools? Was it the yard? What improvements have you made? What's different about your home? Help me with that. You put it together on letterhead, upload it to the MLS, and have it available at your open house. Tell your sellers when you're on a listing presentation, you want to take over a table in their house, a coffee table, an entrance table, something, and I'm going to load it up with collateral material. Nice brochures, good photography, seller's disclosures. If you have a survey, I need it. People are going to want to see that. They're going to require it. Lenders are all going to require it. Any specifications? Do you have any of the original data on the home when you bought it? Recent repairs, give me receipts. The more data you make available, the more professional the home looks, the easier you make it for somebody to write up an offer, and the more invested into that listing you become. Do you know just by gathering up the collateral material, you become an expert on that house? So when that call does come in, when that realtor calls and says, hey, I want to show your house, fantastic, let me tell you something. Just got 2 new AC units, just power washed the garage, just painted a wall. Man, this home shows good. Couldn't have picked a better time to come see it. How do you know that if you don't ask? That's important. And the people are going to get excited about you getting excited. They're going to want you to list the home because they're going to want you to motivate other realtors and buyers. Now, if you can't do that, don't take the listing. Call me. I'll go list it for you. Because I'm excited about everything. All right. Here's where we win business. Most companies, all big companies, use CSS. I hate CSS. In a buyer's market, you are doing your sellers a disservice. You are not giving yourself an opportunity to sell that home to the realtor. We call CSS right now, 11 o'clock, Monday morning. We're probably going to be on hold for 30 seconds. And we got a list of 4 or 5 homes we want to show. If it's too long, we may just get off the phone. And then the person answers the phone. How may I help you, Thomas? You give them addresses. And they robotically blow out the information. There's no enthusiasm. They're not going to tell you what you should know. All they're going to give you is excess instructions. Is that doing your seller a service?
Yes.
No.
Sending them to CSS? I don't think so. I think you're doing them a service by accompanying the showings and at least taking the phone calls to set the appointments. If we're a buyer's agent and we're working a buyer, how many homes are we likely going to be showing on a Saturday or a Sunday? 5, 6, 7, 8. What's going to make mine stand out? If I call CSS, I just write down my appointments. I figure it out when I get there. I'd love to tell you I preview every house before I take my buyers out. Fact of the matter is I don't. I don't have time. None of us really do. But if I'm talking to an agent on the phone and they're giving me a lot of great data, some of that stuff I might write down. I have one chance to get somebody excited about my showing. One. And then if I know when they're going to be there, I'm going to try to be there. Accompanied when possible. CSS, none of that's accompanied. Now, if you're with Mark the Turner, John Doherty, it's a $2 million home. They'll probably accompany the showing. But most of our stuff is 4, 5, 6, 350, 450. Accompanied showing give you the opportunity to present the home and inform the agent when they get there, especially with condos. We've won a lot of business in our life with condominiums because most people don't even know where to park. They don't know how to get in. And when you start making it easy for them, hey, I'll get to the home ahead of time. It's the heights and the streets are tight. It's Rice Military. There's not great street parking, but it's vacant. I'll get there ahead of time. Feel free to park in the driveway. I'll have the garage door open. Feel free to park in the garage. You make it easy for them, they'll remember your house. This is important stuff. Here's where we should win most business. Camelot Realty Group is a premier agency with Zillow. We are now in the top 7% nationally because of the number of sales, our reviews, our stimulus response time, and our knowledge of the industry. We are ranked. I've got the awards to prove it. I print them and pass them around, but I'm not into trophies. Just know it's a fact. Send your people to our website. Send your people to Zillow. Tell them to look up premier agencies. We are experts. And by the way, I just got done telling you that in February, 70% of our business came from Zillow. 70%. Guys, this is leases, buyers, and listings sold. I just put a home under contract that was a Zillow lead for a year ago. Allen Parkway, Unit 504. Zillow lead from a year ago. 70% of our business is coming right here. If you're not on board with Zillow, Trulia, and .loop, Realtor.com, or you got some other lead generation source to advertise a listing, you are not doing your seller a service. I don't know how many companies do it, but just ask them. See, by the way, the other agents that were in here, did they mention their Zillow presence? Did they mention their Zillow budget? Did they mention how important Zillow is now? This is all ages. This isn't just, the young people. One of the biggest sales we made, Melanie sold a home in Westview, 4-point-something million. Lady in her 60s, found it on Zillow. Native Houstonian, found it on Zillow. Didn't go to HAR, saw it on Zillow, called, set an appointment, came to the house, bought the house. No realtor on the other side. That was kind of nice at 4.3 or whatever it was. Zillow is the biggest, baddest dog on the block right now. And if your agent does not have Zillow, you are missing probably 50% of the potential buyers. They are going to Zillow. Okay? We spent a lot of money on this. I would pound this at a listing presentation until they were blue in the face. Okay, photography. You ever go online and look at somebody's listing? He's got a bunch of sell pictures on it? How flippin' tacky is that? In a buyer's market, you're going to go and take pictures of a house with your cell
I
phone?
hate that.
That is absolutely crazy. Invest a little bit of money. Use professional photography. We do. I won't put a listing on the market unless it's a vacant lot. I've done that a few times. And even that should have good photos. Even on your vacant properties, you should do a good job with the photos. Because the photos are what people get excited about. Think about the market nowadays. How many people do online shopping? Amazon's got to be the biggest company in the world right now. I mean, they're bigger than General Motors. People are buying online. Do you ever buy something where picture not available? I mean, we get excited about it. Why do you think billboards work? I bought 2 watches. I'm such a creature of habit. I bought 2 watches. This was one of them. Because I saw it on a billboard. I passed it every day. I'm like, man, that's a good looking watch. Of course it's a good looking watch. It's 12 feet high. I can see everything.
Showing that jacket.
I told you.
What's that? Yeah. Right? We know what we like because we know what we see. We see it, we like it, we want it. Okay? So professional photography is really important. We use Rockbait and we use Camelot. What's the name of your company, brother? You should have a name.
Caitlin Syracuse Photography. I've had it since
Okay,
I was
can you shorten that up?
15 years old.
Can you shorten that up?
No.
Caitlin Syracuse
My name.
Photography. KS Photos, whatever. We've got to be different, and we've got to emphasize our marketing. By the way, if we are on the MLS, we do weekly e-blasts. We have direct communication with both realtors and buyers through signage and all collateral material. All collateral material. Okay? By the way, get a working partner because you can't always answer your phone. Sometimes your 4-year-old's on the phone when you're trying to get an appointment. Okay? Have a backup number. Always report after your showings and after your open houses. Reporting is big. You want to lose a listing? Lose communication with your seller. You want to lose communication? If you lose communication with anybody, your referrals are going to go down. With accompanied showings, with our ability to put something all through the Zillow and Trulia system and good professional photography, 10 showings don't produce an offer. Guys, it's the house. Now we can go back, work the price down, or get people to do certain things to the house. By the way, I know it's uncomfortable, but when you walk through somebody's house and it smells like an animal, tell them, say, you know what? Everybody doesn't like pets. We're going to need your help on these showings. If the home is cluttered, one of the things that I tell people, I say, look, you got a lot of stuff, but it doesn't help us see your home. Could you please pick one room and put everything you don't use on a daily basis in that room? I would rather have one room that you can't even open the door than a bunch of rooms that are a distraction. If you're overly religious, overly political, or you're too much into your family, limit that stuff because you never know who you're going to offend. Okay? I'm a Christian, but if somebody walks in the home, there's 15 crucifixes all over the wall, and you're not a believer, that's not going to work for you. And if you're 100% Democrat, you got nothing but Obama posters all over your room, and then somebody walks in as a Republican, and guess what? You might offend them. Just be careful with that stuff. But you got to politely say it because it's people's homes, right? Clutter. Okay? So we can walk people through that. But these are the things.
Magnets.
Pardon me?
Magnets on fridges and pictures of
All
Kids
that
are.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that are cool, right? But you walk in some people's homes and there's offices are my personal favorite. Offices with all kinds of stuff laying around. Man, limit that. It's distracting walking into that stuff. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? This can go on and on and on, and I'm trying to